I found myself in Birmingham last week, or possibly the week before, or possibly 2 weeks ago, depending upon when I publish this. And while I was there, I had cause to use Adderley Park Station. Something that caught my eye was this platform shelter. So I thought I'd do another of those not very planned short videos looking at a station I briefly visited. Adderley Park Station is in the suburbs of Birmingham. It was opened in 1860, but the line it's on goes back a little further. This is the Stour Valley Line, which was opened by a company known as the Birmingham, Wolverhampton and Stour Valley Railway. Now, I'm going to get into a bit of railway politics here. The Birmingham okay, that's a really long title. I'm just going to call it the Stour Valley Railway for now. A company called the London and Birmingham Railway, who built the line into the old Curzon Street station, had a quarter share in the Stour Valley Railway. But before the railway could be built, the London and Birmingham amalgamated with the Grand Junction Railway and the Manchester and Birmingham Railway to form the London and North Western Railway in 1846. The LNWR were a big company, and the same year they came into existence, they bought the Birmingham Canal Navigation Company, who also owned a quarter share in the Stour Valley Line, so the LNWR became the largest shareholder, and to all intents and purposes, the railway was theirs. Another company, the Shrewsbury and Birmingham, also owned a quarter share. In theory that wasn't a problem, but in practice they were considering their own amalgamation with the Great Western Railway. In fact, they deliberately built a lot of their infrastructure wide enough to enable the Great Western to lay their own broad-gauge track. The Great Western was about the only company big enough to pose a threat to the LNWR, so there was no way the LNWR was giving them access to their turf. The whole thing became a big legal mess, with both the Shrewsbury and Birmingham and the LNWR conducting dirty tricks against each other. The Stour Valley Line was completed in 1851, but it didn't open until 1852, while the legal mumbo-jumbo was discussed. Eventually, the Shrewsbury and Birmingham were allowed onto the line in 1854, on condition that they did not merge with the Great Western. Then they merged with the Great Western. So the LNWR got a monopoly on the Stour Valley Line. Right, so that's how the line through here got built. Adderley Park Station didn't open until 1860. By this time there were enough houses and factories in the area to justify the station. The LNWR weren't fans of commuter traffic in general, but money is money. It also gave them a place to pause the train while passengers' tickets were checked. The new station at New Street was nice and all, but it had no ticket barriers. The station was a small one with 2 platforms, with a booking office on each of them. But the passenger traffic here was less important to the LNWR than the goods traffic. The goods yard opened in 1877, serving the many local industries. The sidings, which absolutely dwarfed the station, lasted until 1990. Although you can still see the approach route, it's the overgrown bit behind the platform there. If you're wondering what happened to the original buildings, with the exception of the old waiting room, they were replaced in the early 80s. Apparently vandalism was a problem and the new buildings were built rather robustly. The windows of the original waiting room were bricked up, meaning that it's a waiting room with a limited amount of light, so it's not the most inviting thing. The refurbished station opened in 1981. Despite being on a main line, the train service is relatively infrequent, one every half hour. The station might get a boost in traffic. There's a plan to build a new sports quarter on the site of nearby Wheels Park with a new Birmingham City Stadium. Assuming that goes ahead, the station might need a bit of an upgrade to cope with match-day traffic. But we'll see. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's shortish video. If so, please do leave a like and consider subscribing for more. I'd like to thank my donors on Ko-fi, on Patreon and here on YouTube for your support. You are the glass to my station windows. And I'll see you all again very soon. Cheerio.